Hello friends, and welcome to another day of Crochet and Crime. My name is Hazy Baby. Today is the 27th of May 2023, and yesterday my son, my baby, turned 13. So I didn't do a video yesterday, but I will do one today. This is it. Well, this is part of it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I crochet while talking about crime, and today I will be making some of the 20 squares that I have to do for my crochet along. So head on over. We'll be talking about a crime, Australian crime, some English crime, just crime in general really, and I hope to see you there. Anyway, have a great day. Oh, by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Head on over to my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. Click on it, subscribe, follow, and go into a chance to win a blanket of mine. Specifically Raymond, who's part of the crochet along. You can see him on there. Hey friends, so without further ado, I am making some of these. 19 more to be exact. If you go and have a look on my page, there is like a crochet along on my YouTube page that has the whole steps all the way to this point. I'm obviously going to block these afterwards, but today I'm literally just starting the middles and probably going to do one full square, I think, but I'll see how I go. First of all, I need three more of this color for the middle. So let's get started. Let's get this party started. I might just do one from the beginning to the end. Okay, so an L plater has crashed into several fences in Melbourne. So a learner driver in a white Holden Commodore bearing stolen registration plates has crashed into the front yard and home in Melbourne's southwest. So the police suspect the 19-year-old man was travelling at a high speed along Heaths Road at Hoppers Crossing at about 11:10 p.m. on Wednesday when the car mounted a nature strip before becoming airborne, like, you know, movie styles. 3, 4, like, you know, Sons of Anarchy or something, I don't know. No, not Sons of Anarchy. What was I thinking of? Something before becoming airborne. Anyway, so a woman who lives on the property told her that she was just putting her 2 young children to bed when the vehicle ploughed through her fence and scared the shit out of her. 2, 3, 4. Then he crashed and they heard a loud bang, obviously. The driver escaped with only minor injuries while his 58-year-old passenger, a Point Cook man, was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. So obviously he was learning driving, so I think we can say he's not very good at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't know why that's criminal though, because police still have no idea and they're still investigating it. So that was a bit of a downer story to start with. Anyway, so what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, a plea after mobility scooter was stolen from a 95-year-old man at a Melbourne aged care centre car park. Legit, they just get on this like scooter and piss off with it. Scumbags. Ridiculous. It's his mobility scooter. How could they do that? Why Felicia? What is wrong with them? Alrighty. Scissors go. Okie dokie, artichokes. So a 95-year-old veteran. Oh, even worse. So he was a vet. That's not very nice. Had his mobility stolen from an aged care car park in Melbourne's inner east. The police believe that the two heartless thieves swiped the scooter at around about 3 p.m. on the 13th of May. And at 10 p.m. On the 14th of May. So they swiped it twice. On the 13th and then again on the 14th. Okay. He only moved into the facility from Hawthorne Road at Brighton East about 8 months ago. See? Now I have concealed that join, you can't see it. Okay, then what have we got here? This color next. So he noticed that his $5,000 scooter was stolen when he was going to go to Sunday Mass, basically on Sunday. They love stealing it from people and wasting their time, he said. He immigrated from Germany in his 20s and spent most of his life working as a PE teacher and judo trainer. I like to do things by myself. Every year it gets harder and harder for me to walk around, he said. So they were stealing it, I think, and then bringing it back. And then this morning he's gone to go to Sunday Mass and found that his scooter was missing. Slow news day today, guys, honestly. The last one wasn't even a criminal story. This one is like, okay, that's sad, but also, how is it criminal? I mean, it is theft, so... But still, I don't know. It's unclear how the thieves gained access to the car park because it's like got a security code and everything. So police want to speak to the two men who perceived to be Caucasian in appearance, and they're wearing black hoodies and track pants. So anyone with any information about this could help the police. So just go over to the 9 News website. Like I said, must be a slow news day if this is the news. Ooh, it's even got me yawning. I'm like, yeah, boring. Next. Okay, this is a little bit better. So a man has been charged with attempted murder after 4 police officers were injured near Toowoomba have been identified. So I told this story the other day. So he's actually been identified now. So the Queensland man has been charged with attempted murder after 4 police officers were injured in a violent chase outside of Toowoomba. So he has been identified as Bartholomew Peter Dorndash, D-O-R-N. And it's not dash, it's Bush. Sorry, I am dyslexic, so B-U-S-H. He's 45. He appeared in court today with 2 charges of attempted murder and did not apply for bail. 3 of the officers are at a hospital, but a 4th, a 54-year-old constable, remains in serious condition after being airlifted from the scene to Brisbane Hospital. Oh, that poor police officer. I wish for him to have a speedy recovery. So the officer, Detective Senior Constable Stephen Ingerson, 47, from Toowoomba Property Crime Squad, was in a coma overnight but has woken up on Thursday. Family members were able to speak to him for the first time since he was rushed to the Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane yesterday afternoon. He suffered from a significant hip and pelvis injuries as well as suspected internal bleeding. Oh, poor dude. He will be assessed by the medical professionals today and has a long road of recovery ahead of him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Last one. 12, which, he does. One of the other officers has a broken collarbone. Adding to the incident has rocked the policing community and the community of the Southern Downs, which it would because they've just had so much violence there lately. I mean, there was a dude who chopped off his own stepdad's arm. Lots of stuff. One of the other officers, like I said, had a broken collarbone. So the police allege that the 45-year-old was accused was behind the wheel of a stolen Hino truck and was spotted by officers outside of Toowoomba at about 1:20 on Wednesday. The truck's owners were also involved in the pursuit, apparently, tracking the truck down after it was allegedly stolen from their store and assisting police during the trace. They were throwing things at us from inside the vehicles, but we kept back. We were safe, Natasha Renner, the truck's owner, claimed. We constantly told police where they were, so they gave them the constant updates for the police, which was nice. The Hindo was flagged down by the police, but police alleged that as they opened the truck door, the driver accelerated, trapping the officers between the truck and their police car before they were thrown across the bonnet and onto the road. The truck then allegedly sped off, leaving the seriously injured officers on the road before they were followed by 2 more patrol cars and to Gumbunji Waste Management Plant. The truck then allegedly deliberately rammed both of the cars, causing extensive damage to the vehicles and crushing 2 officers in minor injuries before the person was arrested. Bartholomew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not very nice. That's not how you make friends. 11 and 12. That's not how you make eggs there, Bartholomew. That's not how you make it. The man was from Oki, and he's facing a string of serious charges. Here we go again, with all these names of them, including 2 counts of attempted murder, the unlawful use of a motor vehicle, breaking and entering, willful damage, evading police, and the possession of dangerous drugs. Actually, that wasn't too bad. Normally they have these, if you see my other videos, they have like these long-winded names for these things, and I'm always like, ugh, why? Why do you always give them such long-winded names? What's wrong with you? Alrighty, so if you want to see that magic circle thing again, pull it as tight as you can. You want to bring this magic circle ring through first. You want to go back in there, and you want to pick up that bit, tighten them both, so pull tight, and then tie them off. And that will stop your magic circle from busting, if you will. It won't bust. Anyway, the truck was allegedly stolen at 4 a.m. on Wednesday, along with a Hilux ute, which has been intercepted in nearby Charlton 3 hours earlier using a tyre deflation device. I think I spoke about this the other day, guys. 2 men aged 19 and... Oopsie daisies, hold on. I'm getting myself all caught up here. The string's everywhere. It's because this is like the ends pile. Little ends pile. 19 and 28 were arrested at the scene and have since been charged with various offences, including stealing and unlawful use of a motor vehicle and drug offences. They both appeared in the Toowoomba Magistrate Court on Thursday morning without applying for bail. All 3 men involved now remanded in custody, and our constable is awake from his coma, so that's nice. So that's the update. Basically, the update was that he was in a critical condition and in a coma, and he has now woken up from that coma, and his family members are able to talk to him, which is nice. That's so nice, and I wish him a speedy recovery, although I know it's going to be forever. Oh, here we go. There's another freaking police shooting. Jeebus, what's going on? So a man has been shot dead by police in Sydney after allegedly behaving erratically. It's another one. So a man shot dead by police in Sydney was allegedly behaving erratically and aggressively and chasing people down the street. Oh yeah, so totally just shoot him. Whatever. This is ridiculous. Residents locked their doors as police responded to the North Willoughby home at about 11:30 a.m. yesterday. Officers were confronted by Stephen Palapin, who was allegedly armed with 2 chef knives. Ooh, they're sharp. But still. Knife versus gun. I think we all know who's going to win. Anyway, a constable shot him and he was dead at the scene. New South Wales police have said in a statement. That was very straightforward, wasn't it? Assistant Commissioner Leanne McAllister and said that Pemberton was approaching neighbours in various homes. As police arrived, they were confronted by the man with 2 chef knives and therefore deserved to be shot, apparently. At the time, he did have 2 large knives on him. He ran at the police, and one of the police officers then discharged their firearm. Could he not have shot him in the leg or something? He is known to police, but I'd probably describe that quite minimal, and any further detail about the person that's come from a critical investigation, according to the police. They are still investigating it. No doubt, because this is like the 3rd police shooting in a week. It's ridiculous. McAllister said that it's unclear what triggered the man's actions or the incident or the mental health that is related to this man. The 2 officers are receiving welfare support. Naturally, they're shaken up, and welfare support has been put in place for them to view and look at them. No other injuries have been reported, and police are investigating the circumstances, and the incident is an investigation reviewed by the Professional Standards Command. Yeah, because they'll have questions. Those questions will be like, what could you have done? Why did you need to apply lethal force? And could there have been another recourse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Another reasonable recourse or course of action that could have been taken during this period of time. I really feel like we need to train our police more. I feel like a lot of trigger-happy police out there for some odd reason. It's just 6 months is not enough. So he said that McAllister said taser was not used during the incident, but it was a tactical option available. So that was my question that I just asked before. What could they have reasonably done? I didn't do it tight enough. It's kind of loose, but that's okay. What would have been reasonable for them to achieve? And I think it is reasonable for us to say that a taser probably could have sufficed, and we'll never know now. So yeah. In terms of a tactical option that we used, that was subject to the investigation by the critical incident team, which is true. She said that she was not reviewed the body cam footage, however she plans to have a look at it. Well, hopes fucking so. One woman told 9 News that she felt shocked and sad that someone has died. Same, bruz, same. We just heard quite a loud shouting, a man quite upset, and then 3 loud gunshots. Why are they shooting them so many times? Well, I didn't know they were gunshots, they were just loud bangs. I thought they were gunshots, and then I heard the street had been blocked off and we heard helicopters. We just closed our doors and stayed inside. So this is that same story that I read the other day. But this is the third one that I have read. I mean, I read it separately for myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Anyway, it'll be left up to the coroner now to decide the report, and it'll be left up for the incident team to decide if those police actions were warranted or not warranted. That poor police officer has to live with their actions for the rest of their life as well. They're probably asking themselves, is there something I could have done that was less violent? That was less final, if you will. Because he dead now. There's no coming back from that. You can't unshoot a gun. So, that one. We got this one. Okie dokie. So yeah, I'm going with because I'm using up the leftover yarn. I'm going with several different types of these squares. So these squares is I'm going to be doing 20 of these. I'm going to be doing 5 different types and 4 of each type. Okie dokie. So this next story is less shooty and more steely. So 2 albino pythons have been stolen from a pet store in Sydney. So sad. I hope they're being looked after at least. So staff working at a pet store in Sydney are shocked to find that 2 of their albino pythons were stolen from their enclosures. 3 alleged thieves snuck into the store about midday yesterday while staff were working close by. No one's going to think they're going to be stealing pythons. And said that he dropped to his stomach when he knew what had happened. Like, he was just like, what? His stomach dropped, so he's like, oh, I feel sick. It has taken them a bit of manpower for sure, because the juvenile snakes, nicknamed Toasty and Marshmallow, will eventually grow up to be about 2.5 meters long and aren't venomous, but they're quite valuable. So they're both around the $700 mark, but they're quite hard to look after, especially albino pythons, because legitimately they're albino, so they're a little bit harder to look after. They were definitely the most sought after of the carpet pythons that pet stores sell. People might be interested in breeding them. However, police have located the snakes, seizing the pythons from a St. Clair home today and returned them to the store. A 17-year-old boy is now talking to the police. Maybe he really badly wanted those pythons. So the pythons are okay, guys. They're back. They're safe in their little enclosures. Back at the pet store after doing a trip around wherever. Probably had a ball of a time. See what I did there? Because they're pythons. But they're not ball pythons. They're carpet pythons. But still, cute. I have a python. He is a native Australian python. He's a coastal python. We got him... actually, we found him. I have a special license. We found him during the flood. He was freshly hatched, and his siblings were all, unfortunately, didn't make it. Thanks to the cold weather and the flood waters, they had drowned. He survived though, and he has been hand raised, and he's about 9 meters long now, and he's about this fat. He's so fat. And we have to feed him rabbits. But he is absolutely gorgeous, and I named him Monty. Of course I did, because he's a python, and you know, Monty Python, and I'm a giant nerd. So of course I named him Monty. Anyway, so I feel sorry for that kid, so hopefully, I don't know why he stole the pythons, but yeah. Okie dokie, so now moving back to guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's been a fair few gun stories here in Australia, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. But an alleged teen gunman has been charged over a Perth shooting. So, Perth has been under fire lately. Ha 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 ha. No pun intended. I actually didn't mean to make that a pun. But it has the most guns per capita than any other state in Australia. Any other city in Australia and or state. So they have been under fire lately from everybody asking for tougher laws to be put into place. And I think that's their plan, is to pop in some really, really strict laws regarding guns. We already have some pretty strict laws regarding guns here in Australia, but yeah, that obviously they need to tighten the reins a little bit. Don't think this is going to be enough to do what I want to do, so I might have to do 2 of this colour and then 2 of a different green. Switch them around maybe. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so yeah. So a teen who allegedly fired a gun in a car park of a Perth school sparked a lockdown has been charged. So he obviously shot a gun. So police allege the 15-year-old found the keys to his father's gun safe and took 2 rifles from inside and headed to the Atlantis Beach Baptist College in 2 Rocks. He only shot 1 gun, which is a .234 rifle, used for hunting, before panicking and calling the police on himself. So he just was like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing, and called the police on himself. A nearby demountable classroom with school kids inside was hit by the bullet, but no one was injured, thank goodness. It was a very fraught situation, and we were lucky that no one was killed. So the bullet came pretty close, and it was a terrible, terrible thing, and it could have been so much worse. Police allege they've found more than 60 rounds of ammunition and 2 long-armed rifles inside the back of a 4-wheel drive found at the school. The teen's neighbour told 9 News that the 15-year-old was growing increasingly antisocial recently. He is really nice until last year, apparently, according to the neighbour. Well, he's probably angsty, dude. He's gone through puberty. The teen's father has been questioned by police, and the rural family home has been searched by investigators. So obviously the dad was doing all the right thing. He had a gun safe. He only had rifles. They weren't semi-automatic. They were bolt action. So, he was following all the rules that we have here in Australia, and he still managed to get his hands on the weapons, because if he didn't manage to do that, then he would have surely been in a lot of deep trouble, because like I said, we got some pretty strict rules here in Australia, and he would be up for neglect charges and endangering children because he left the guns unattended and open up to children. We hold the parents responsible for that kind of stuff because they're the ones with the frontal cortex reasoning, unlike us. unlike the children, sorry. I mean, I should have frontal cortex reasoning. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If you'd like to know what this stitch is called, it's called I think I made it up, but I'm not quite sure. Let me know if you've seen it before, but it's called a tulip stitch. Well, that's what I'm calling it, because it looks like a tulip, see? It looks like a little tulip. Well, it does to me anyway. Maybe not in the green. Anyway, they're still under investigation, and he will appear in the Perth Children's Court on Friday. He's been charged with driving without authority, possessing a firearm with ammunition without a license, discharging a firearm in a manner to cause fear, possessing a prohibited weapon and and acting unlawfully with the intent to harm. Although I hope they give him brownie points at least for calling the police on himself, because that could have been way worse. Whoopsie daisies. What am I doing here? 3 and 4. 4 and 5. There's a reason why I don't normally do such intricate patterns while talking about crime, and it's because I need to concentrate just a little. But if I want to do my crochet along, I need to do 20 of these so I can sew them together. Okie dokie. So the next story here is a gun store theft. So the gun store theft that I talked about the other day is come back on. They're actually searching for the man. So, because he's still on the run in Western Australia. So, an armed man remains on the run after allegedly robbing a gun store in coastal Western Australia town. Police have searched for the man who entered the gun shop with a handgun and snatched a long arm rifle, and ammunition at about 8:50 a.m. on Thursday morning. So last Thursday morning, the man allegedly threatened the store's staff before fleeing in, like I said, a silver Commodore wagon, always a Commodore, with 2 firearms, including the rifle. Police, who issued an urgent release, said that the man is considered armed and dangerous, and people should refrain from pretty much approaching him because he has guns. So don't do that. That would be silly. The accused was described as light-skinned with dark hair under his cap. He's aged between 25 to 30. He looks a bit younger than that to me. And he has a stocky build. He was wearing dark-coloured long-sleeve shirt laid over a white shirt and black shorts. Again, he's probably gotten changed since then. I hope so. And the alleged robbery came one day after there was a fire of the Perth school, at the one I was just talking about. So it came one day after that. So there's been a statewide crackdown now on firearms, which was what I was talking about the other day. A statewide crackdown. So they're going to instruct even harsher laws, according to their premier. So, yeah. That's good, I suppose. Right? I mean, I think it's good. We don't need guns anyway, just get rid of them all. What do we need them for? Name one thing a gun is good for. That another weapon couldn't also do. What do you need a gun for? Ain't nobody need guns. Nobody needs guns. Okay. Ugh. This next story is out of the US, and I get kind of a little bit miffy about these smuggler stories because they piss me off. I'm a huge animal advocate. And yes, before anyone gets all upsetty spaghetti, am I vegan? No, I'm not vegan. I don't eat meat though. I just don't eat it because I don't like the taste of it. But that doesn't mean I don't eat chicken. I do eat chicken. I like the taste of chicken. I like a good curry. But mostly I don't eat it because I don't like it. Not because it's cruel to animals or anything like that. But I still feel really upset and upsetty spaghetti about this next story. So, hatchling parrot eggs were discovered in an alleged smuggler's luggage in the US. So, the 24 bright-coloured baby parrots began chirping and bobbing their heads. Poor little babies. the second anyone near the two large cages had been in their homes, and they'd hatched in March, apparently. The Central American natives seized from a smuggler at Miami International Airport have been raised in the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation. A round-the-clock effort has included 5 hand feedings a day in a room filled with large cages. At 9 weeks old, these parrots have already survived a harrowing journey after being snatched from their nest in a forest. They're almost fully feathered, which is great. And now the staff have started transitioning them from a special formula of diet to food pellets and fruit, which is lovely, guys. You're ready to meet the children? Asked Paul Ritter, Florida International University professor and director of Foundation, as he led visitors on Friday into a small building tucked behind a sprawling house in Lechiki, a rural community in West Palm Beach. So, yeah, these birds had been smuggled into the airport, had been stolen from a rainforest, smuggled through the airport, had hatched while at the airport. Then they were taken by the conservationist team, and they've all been hand raised by lovely volunteers, and now they will be transitioning to a new home in a rural community. So it's a feel-good story. I read another one today where a person had sedated a 12-week-old baby tiger, no, less than that, 8-week-old baby tiger, sedated them and paralyzed them, so basically gave them a paralytic drug so they couldn't move, and then popped them in a suitcase with plushies to make it look like they were, he was a plushie. And it was only because the customs person was super vigilant and was checking all of the plushies that she noticed that one of the plushies was breathing. And so that person was arrested and charged with animal cruelty, because, as well as smuggling and other offences, but yeah, animal cruelty was number 1. And it was an endangered tiger as well. It was a white tiger. So even worse, endangered species. But for there is demand, there is supply. So I shouldn't blame the smugglers, because if no one was interested in buying them, they wouldn't be bothered smuggling them in. It's the same thing with drugs. You shouldn't be blaming the drug dealers, you should be blaming the drug O's. Because they're the ones. They're the reasons. If no one bought them, then they wouldn't sell them. That's how it works. That's how buying and selling works. If there's no one who wants to buy them, then no one can sell them. It'd be boring. Anyway, they were so cute when they found them. They just look like these little, like, pew, 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 pew. Anyway, so there was 29 eggs in total, and out of those 29 eggs, 26 of them hatched, and out of the 26, 24 survived. So that's pretty good. So they only lost a couple, which was nice, considering the circumstances in which they were, smuggled across the country. The fact that they even lived at all was pretty surprising. So that's great. I wonder how many nests they raided to get that many birds. I'm not sure how many birds a clutch is in a clutch. Is it called a clutch? Let me know. Let me know, guys. See in the comments if you're a bird aficionado or you know stuff about birds. Is it called a clutch? What's it called when they have a bunch of, like, I know that's what it's called when it's a snake or a lizard, but I don't know what it's called if it's a bird. Is it called a clutch? Let me know. Let me know. Did I say that enough times? Did you hear me? Papa, can you hear me? Do you want to build a snowman? Same song, different lyrics. Okay. So this next story is actually out of Japan. Excuse me, sorry. A suspect has been arrested after shooting and stabbing attack in Japan. Leaves 3 people dead. So they have murdered 3 people, basically. So the suspect in a shooting and stabbing incident has left 3 people dead in central Japan and is now in police custody, according to the Japanese public broadcaster NHK, citing local police early on Friday. So in Nakado City, I'm sorry for everyone, I cannot say that word very well, there was a call on Thursday with reports that there was a man had stabbed a woman in the city. When officers rushed to the scene, the suspect fired something resembling a hunting rifle, striking 4 people before barricading himself inside of the building. So, first of all, he stabbed a woman and then he shot a rifle at 4 unsuspecting people. I mean, he shot a rifle at a crowd of people and hit 4 people. Okie dokie. So that's that one. I think I'll do those 2 like that. And then I've only got this much left of that colour. So I think I'll go around the last bit with the other 2. So we'll swap. And I'll do this one. And we'll do a swapsies. We'll swap that in. Swappy. Seen you played swappy before. Okie dokie. So through the middle of any of these, starting again. So among the casualties is a woman in her 40s who was taken to hospital where she was subsequently pronounced dead. 2 police officers have also died from their injuries. The officers were aged 46 and 61. The suspect initially barricaded himself in a home belonging to the city council chairman, and I can't say his name because I'm terrible with names, but I'm not even going to attempt it. And it was later revealed that that was his father's house. So, bet his dad's proud. He was later taken into custody. According to the NHK, a witness to the attack said that they saw a woman run towards him pleading for help, pursued by a masked man wearing camouflage. The man, who appeared to be in his 30s, wielded a knife several dozen centimeters long and stabbed her in the back. Jeebus. Stabbed her in the back? That's so mean. Hold on. She was stabbed in the back. So gun violence is extremely rare in Japan, a country with 125 million people, and it has one of the lowest rates of gun crime in the world due to its extremely strict gun laws. However, Japan was rocked by a shooting last year that reverberated around the world, and then again today, this week. The country's longest serving prime minister was shot dead during a campaign speech in Nara in July. His murder sent shockwaves through Japan and the international community, which was true. And it sparked questions about whether enough security has taken place to protect him. I think the whole idea is that they think that the country has become quite complacent because of their strict gun laws. They don't stress too much about it. So I think, so getting hold of a firearm in Japan is extremely difficult, apparently. And so that's the reason why I feel like they've become quite complacent with the actual gun part of the gun laws, I suppose. Well, with not thinking that they're under any kind of threat. So they don't worry about checking people because, getting a gun would cost thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars even. And then, even having a gun would be, just so much effort, energy. And so, yeah. But I suppose if there's a will, there's a way. Something like that. Some sort of insert oxymoron saying here. So, yeah. So in 2022, 9 incidents involving firearms took place in Japan, which is like nothing. I think that happens in 10 minutes in America. I don't know. One town from the previous year of the National Guard. On the 9 incidences, 6 were believed to have been committed by gangs, which makes sense. And one of them included the Prime Minister's assassination. And in total, 4 people were killed and 2 injured. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I feel really sorry for that, the family of those police officers that died, and I feel really sad for the woman who was stabbed in the back. With a long sword by the sounds of it. That's absolutely horrible, so yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. And let's move on to a different story today. Okie dokie. So this is a bit of a long one. So read Brian Laundrie's mum's burn after reading letter written to her son before Gabby Peto's death. So, the mother of Brian Landry, the man who killed his fiancée, Gabby Peto, later himself, and then he killed himself in 2021. The mother wrote a letter to her son saying she would help him dispose of a body or bake a cake with a file in it to help him in jail, according to a copy of the updated letter. I want you to remember that I'll always love you, is what her letter said. And I know you will always love me. You are my boy. Nothing can make you stop loving me. Nothing will or ever could divide us. No matter what we do or where we go or what we say, we always love each other, she wrote in her letter, which is totally normal. If you're in a jail, I would bake a cake with a file in it. If you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with a garbage bag and a shovel. This is taken out of context. That I could imagine writing that to like my cousin, for example. Just, she's my person. I could imagine writing to her, I would do all these things for you too. Like, but that doesn't mean I actually would. I don't think I would actually go. Like, if she rang me up and told me she killed someone, I'd be like, girl, we in a world of shit. What we gonna do? But I definitely don't think I would. Yeah, and I wouldn't expect her to do the same thing either. I think a lot of mums and stuff would probably say something like this. I would help you bury the body. Yada, yada, yada. I think it's taken out of context of, like, she probably never thought she'd actually have to do any of these things. I know I've said stuff like that. I didn't think I'd ever actually have to come over with the shovel and give you a hand. If you fly to the moon, I'll be watching the skies for your re-entry. See? Now, she didn't think he was an astronaut, did she? If you say you hate my guts, then I'll get new guts. It's actually really a loving letter from a mother to a son. I'm sorry, but I don't agree. I don't think you should take this out of context and make it out like she's some sort of person who helped conspire with him to kill his fiancée. I fucking doubt it. Said letter was written before her son's trip with Punto, and one of the attorneys released a statement saying that it's in no way related to Gabby, and I agree. It is in no way related to Gabby. The envelope containing the letter said burn after reading and was recovered by Brian Landry's backpack when his remains were found in October 2021. Yeah, she was probably just joking. Like, it's embarrassing for your mum to profess her love to him. He was probably just like, oh, burn it. It's, people just don't understand. People don't understand. Look, I'm not saying what he's done is okay. In no way him killing Gabby is okay. It's not in any way. But do I think the mother had something to do with it? God, no. God, no. I do not. Based on that letter alone, no. No, I do not. That's circumstantial and taken out of context at best. The letter also had quotes from a Romans in the Bible, from the Bible. But, you know, mums do stupid shit like that. Nothing can separate us, no hatred, no hunger, no homeless, no threats, not even sin, not even the unthinkable or the thinkable, nothing can come between us, which is fine. The full language of the letter was revealed nearly 2 years after the young couple set off a cross-country trip, closely documented on social media, which ended in tragedy. So, I'm just going to look up this story, guys, so I can give you a little bit more of a background to it. Just give me a second. Okay, if I remember correctly, they were traveling here in Australia, but I just want to double check. I don't want to be giving you guys false information. I want to make sure that I've got the right story. So in August 2021, American woman Gabrielle, who I've now been called Gabby, 1, 2, 3, 4, was killed by her fiance Brian Landry at the age of 22 while they were traveling together on a #van life journey across the United States. Sorry, it wasn't even in Australia. I don't know why I thought it was. The trip was planned for the last 4 months and began in July 2nd of 2021, but she disappeared in August. After the disappearance, Landry raised suspicions when he drove the van from Wyoming back to his parents' Florida home and refused to discuss her whereabouts. I don't know why I thought he was Australian. For some reason I did. Anyway, he was deemed a person of interest in the case and was arrested on a warrant and charged with making withdrawals from her debit card, from Gabby's debit card. He left his home on September 13th and was reported missing 4 days later. So this is where that was the last I heard. So there's more than that, obviously. On September 19th, his remains were found in the Wyoming Teton National Forest. An autopsy found that her remains were found, in the forest, and an autopsy found that she had died from strangulation. A month of suspicion around her whereabouts and an exhausted search of the area and his home. His skeleton remains were discovered in the Florida's Creek Environmental Park on October 20th. It was confirmed by an autopsy on the 23rd of November that he had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. So basically, along the lines, the FBI have said that they think that it looks like he may have accidentally or purposefully strangled her and then disposed of her body, didn't know what to do, felt an overwhelming amount of guilt, knew that he was going to be caught, and then unalived himself. Basically, is what they're saying. And now there is all this interest in a letter that the mother has written to her son. And I think the reason I thought they were Australian is because the letter sounds very Aussie-ish. So I was like, I could see an Aussie mum saying that to her son. So, yeah, I don't think the mother had anything to do with anything. And I think that she is grieving for the loss of her son and the loss of the innocence of her son. Because no way in the whitey would she think that her son would do such a terrible and horrible thing, like killing his girlfriend, fiance, whatever. I don't think that she would think that, and I think that must be very difficult for her to come to terms with the fact that not only was her son a killer, but he also killed himself. So let's just leave the poor woman alone. I think she had nothing to do with anything, and we should just leave her alone, seriously. Honestly. Yeah, well, so last time I heard about it, I heard that she was missing, and then I heard that they found her body, and then I heard they found the van, but I didn't hear that he had died. I know that he went missing, and I presumed that he had died. I presumed that he unalived himself. My presumptions were right because they found his skeletal remains later. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, he left his home in July. Sorry, left his home in September, and they didn't find him until November. So yeah, a few months later. Okie dokie, let's see. I think I've got like maybe, let's have a look. Let's see what else we have today for you guys. So I've got an update for you guys. Remember that lovely Aussie dude who ran through Indonesia naked on a drunken rampage and assaulted an Indonesian man and then was thrown into an Indonesian prison and who was facing some serious consequences for his actions because the town that he did this in was a dry town, which means you can't drink in it. And they're very strict in their rules, and he had not only done that, but he'd humiliated and he assaulted a man. So it was a big deal. But the update is that he may be set free after offering $25,000 as a peace offering to his victim, the man he assaulted while he was naked and drunk. So, yeah. Apparently he's just going to pay his way out of prison. Sounds like everyone. Only got enough money, you get to go out of prison. So, yeah, look, I don't believe that he should be in that much trouble, but I do believe that you should know the rules of... You should just know the rules. Like, know the rules before you leave anywhere. Know the rules of the country you're going to go visit. Know the rules of all that jazz. So... This next story is gross and disgusting and contains some childhood pedophilia and some sexual assault of children. So if you cannot handle any of that kind of content, then please scroll on, or this is the end of this video today, so you can be on your merry way if you like. But if you'd like to watch me finish this, just put me on mute then. But I'm about to talk about that, so I'll let you know. So puffing Billy Train enthusiast who molested young boys is likely to avoid jail. Isn't that nice, guys? That we allow him to avoid jail after he molested a bunch of little boys? So nice. So, Puffing Bill, a volunteer who sexually abused 2 young train enthusiasts, has been sentenced to prison time, but he's unlikely to serve a day because he's old and frail. Boo-hoo-hoo. So Anthony Hutchins was sentenced to 2 years and 9 months, pathetic, behind bars after he attempted to abuse a 12-year-old boy, 2 12-year-old boys in the 1970s. So it's a historical rape case as well. Isn't that nice, guys? So the Victorian County Court Judge Trevor Rort agreed that the wholly suspension of the prison sentence for the 81-year-old is a lengthy list of physical ailments needing pharmaceutical help, and a limited lifetime expectancy. I just want to say that if he's been convicted of two counts, and all he got was 2 years and 9 months, and that was done in the 1970s, you telling me that from 1970 till now he's done nothing with anyone else? Yeah. So he's already spent time behind bars. There we go. That answers that question. For sexually abusing boys, and the judge described an experience in the 1980s after having profound impact on him. He has not offended since, apparently. I call bullshit, unless his penis was removed. The latest charges relate to abusing one boy over 4 years, which started when he was 12 years old. He was taken to He was a train enthusiast and was encouraged by Hitchens to volunteer for Puffing Billy, driving him to a heritage railway track work and later to other model train events. He told the court he felt cheapened by the memories that he now releases were efforts by Hitchens to groom him. As a child, I thought he was a friendship, and it wasn't. It was grooming and transactional. You sought sexual gratification, he said. The men had suppressed what had happened to him for a long time, And he had a great distrust for people, and it wasn't until he got himself some therapy and he could come to terms with what had happened to him. So, yeah, it happens. Historical rape cases often happen like this, where people remember things later, or your brain is amazing and it will lock away the things that it thinks that you can't deal with, and then all of a sudden one day you might remember a certain part of it, or whenever your mind feels that you are strong enough to deal with it, it might bring it back up again, which is absolutely horrible for anyone suffering. And that's called PTSD. I have it. It's shit. I had a nap today, and yeah, that happened to me today. So it just happens. There's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. And these people, the perpetrators, for them, it was just an event that got them instant gratification. And for you, you spend the rest of your life wondering why you deserved to be treated in such a way. And the truth of the matter is, you didn't deserve it. No one deserves to be treated like that. It's just something that happened to you. And they didn't care about your well-being. They don't care about you at all, in fact, which is hard to rectify, but it's the truth. They care about themselves, their own instant gratification, and what they got out of it. They don't give two flying what it has done to you in your life. And the majority of people don't like it when you talk about these kinds of things, because they get really upsetty spaghetti. They think that you should be over it already. They think that you should stop talking about it because it's happened now, and talking about it's not going to fix anything, and yada, yada, yada. But sweeping it under the rug is not going to fix anything either, and you're allowed to have your feelings. If you feel sad about it, you feel sad about it. If you feel pissed off about it, you feel pissed off about it. No one else can tell you how to feel. You know, you've already had your autonomy taken away from you. You've already had all of that stripped from you. So don't you feel for a second that you're not entitled to have your feelings. They're your feelings. You're allowed them. Feel them. Feel them, because at the end of the day, they don't have to live inside your head. You do. Anyway, but that's my rant for today. And I just feel that victims need a little bit more support from the greater society. And everyone needs to stop wanting the angry girl to grow up, because she can't grow up, or he can't grow up. They're stuck. They're forever stuck in that age bracket when this happened to them. And yeah, sure, they can physically grow up, and they might even mentally grow up, but they're still going to have trust issues, and they're still going to have problems surrounding these kinds of things. So, but anyway, like I said, I'll move on from that. And I'm glad you stuck around to listen to me rant. So, yeah, he won't go to prison apparently, or he might not go to prison because he's too old and too fragile, apparently. Well, I hope he chokes on his own vomit in his sleep. I mean, what? Because like I said, he's trying to say that he stopped doing anything because from 1980, and I call bullshit. Unless he got his balls chopped off. I don't believe it. Okie dokie, I'm just going to finish off this flower. So I've got one more story for you guys. This one is out of Ballarat, where Ram Raiders on the run after Ballarat club attack. So Ram Raiders are in a van, are on the run in Victoria after an attack on a club in Ballarat this week. Police were called to a Ballarat golf club, of all places. Oh, whoops. I just skipped a whole stitch there. On Sturt Street in Victoria, after reports of a silver Subaru Forester station wagon had smashed into the front glass doors at around about 1:40 a.m. on Wednesday, on the 24th of May. It's understood the two men tried to steal the cash machines, but were totally unsuccessful. So, they tried to, ram in, because those cash machines are usually at the front foyer, so they were bam, and they tried to, destroy this place. CCTV footage showed the men throwing a rope over the machine and repeatedly trying to drag it out, but to no avail. They're bolted in, guys. Nobody was inside the venue at the time, and the men fled in the Subaru, which was seen heading west on Sturt Street. And that's it. No more information for you guys about that. That's pretty much it. And that is me for the day. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 2 more of these flower rounds to do. Sorry about my dog losing her shit in the background. My son has his best friend over for his birthday weekend. We have a whole birthday week at our house because birthdays should be celebrated. Children need to be celebrated. They sure do, because life is very short and childhood is even shorter. So 100%. So he's having a 2-day birthday weekend, and his friends doesn't like to sleep over, which is okay, each to their own. So he's just going to go home, and then he's going to come back in the morning. So how good's that? And he only lives like down the road, so, and I totally get wanting to sleep in your own bed. I always want to sleep in my own bed. It's so comfy. Okay, thank you very much for your time, patience, and effort today, guys. I appreciate your patronage, and I thank you very much. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you're not already subscribed. If you are subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. If you think this is amazing and you would like to share it with your friends, please do share my page. If you would like to go into the draw to win Raymond, here's the blanket for my crochet along, and the reason I am doing these current squares is for Raymond. Then yeah, all you have to do is be a subscriber and then comment on one of my videos. That's it. It's that simple. Dead simple. See what I did there? Because it's a crime channel. I said dead simple. But I know, I'm so clever, guys. Okie dokie, artichokes, I thank you very much for your day today, and I shall see you tomorrow. And I will probably be doing more of these lovely squares, because I'm going to guess that I'm going to run out of time, because they're going to take forever. But aren't they pretty? Aren't they pretty, guys? I think I'm going to like the maroon ones when I do them. Anyway, moving right along, I shall see you guys tomorrow. Bye!